Your vision will become more clear when you look into your heart. When you look outside, you just dream. When you look inside, you awake. Hello, UPSC aspirant. Welcome back to Career Talk Show once again. My name is Akansha, and today we will discuss on the topic how to crack UPSC Civil Service Examination Personality Test. And I would like to thank our venue partner Plutus IAS. A special thanks to our ebook partner Online Khan Market and e-commerce partner Examophobia. To begin the show, I would like to welcome our honorable guest, Mr. A.K Saxena, sir. Mr. A.K Saxena was former civil servant. He held many government positions as well. He handled top secret work of all exams conducted under UPSC. He has worked as a joint secretary as well. He has worked with PESB, that is Public Enterprises Selection Boards, where all interview-based selections are being done for the post of chairman cum managing and functional directors. And now Mr. Saxena is also working as freelance journalist, where he's where he is guiding all the aspirants regarding the interviews and the mock tests. So welcome, sir. Welcome once again. So before we start the session, I would like to request you so kindly show some insights and wisdom to our UPSC aspirants.
Thank you, Akanksha. And thank you, Plutus, for giving me an opportunity to interact with the brilliant minds who are before me. And they are all civil services aspirants. I can understand the nervousness all the aspirants must be passing through these days because the results of the main examinations are due any day, maybe in a day or two. So I can understand their anxiety, their nervousness. But I wish you all the very best in this endeavor. You see, I think I need not elaborate on this. UPSC's civil service examination is the most formidable examinations in the country. In fact, the whole world. Very difficult examination, the toughest examinations, and worse, it is the most unpredictable examinations. You don't know what is going to happen. There is always a fear of the unknown, whether you will make it or not. And it is a 3-stage examinations, preliminary examinations, mains examinations, finally the interviews examinations. In the UPSC parlance, we call it personality test. But in common parlance, we call it interviews. So I'll use these two words, expressions, interchangeably. The need for interview is very, very necessary because UPSC is supposed to, it has got the mandate to select, to identify those candidates, those aspirants who are good material for civil services, whether they are fit to function like civil servant. That is very important. Civil servants need some special traits which others don't have. See, all the aspirants have been tested for their knowledge through the preliminary examinations and through the mains examinations. But that is the test of their knowledge, the extent of their knowledge, the intensity of their knowledge. But now is the time to test their personality because personality is all that matters for a civil servant or for that matter any professional in the career. And the most important trait, the quality that is expected of a civil servant is the level of confidence. That's very, very important. Knowledge gives you confidence, no doubt. It gives you confidence. But then there are other qualities also, like your articulation, whether you are able to communicate your views to your fellow colleagues, your peers, your subordinates, and whether you are able to stay firm, take a firm stand before your bosses and before the political executives. That is very important. It's very important for I've been reading so many autobiographies written by former civil servants, and I get great inspirations from these books because that is a storehouse of knowledge. Their experiences are very, very necessary to know because we learn from their experiences. Interview, as I said in the beginning, is the most important stage of the whole recruitment process. It is, in fact, if I may say so, it's the last mile of the whole recruitment process. You have crossed the preliminary examinations, you have crossed the main examinations, and now it's the final mile that you have to cross. So one has to be very, very careful in the interview because each mark that one is awarded in the interview matters a lot. Because having served in the UPSC, I can say with pride that I have got fair insight into the internal functioning of the UPSC. I was doing all top secret work in the UPSC. I was arranging for the interviews. So I know what is needed. And UPSC selects bodies and supplies the bodies to the government after having satisfied itself about their potential for civil service. Interviews is a very important segment. Interview carries 275 marks out of a total of 2025. So it constitutes about 15% weightage of the whole examination process. So you can imagine that if you don't do well in the interview, you may lose your chance. Howsoever nicely you have performed in the main examinations, but interview is the stage where every mark is very, very material, very, very important. Ultimately, it is I am not here to share with you the questions that are normally raised in the interview held by the UPSC. I'm not here to answer the questions. It is not so important because there is no fixed syllabus for the syllabus like you have in the case of prelims or in the case of mains examinations. You don't have any syllabus for this for the interviews. You can be asked anything under the sky and you should be ready. What is more important is that how you answer, how you articulate your views confidently, that is more important for you. And it is very necessary to undergo mock interviews before appearing before the UPSC because that acts as a kind of force multiplier to improve your performance in the interviews. Appearing the mock interviews gives you confidence. It gives you an edge over others. Those who are not in a position to attend any mock sessions, they 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 lag behind. They are not able to perform as well as they are expected. Coming to the talk show for which I have been invited here, as I stated in the beginning, my idea is not to share with you the answers that are expected of your questions. My idea is to prepare you how to answer in the best possible way. Presentation of answer is very, very important because tomorrow you are going to be civil servant and you will be interacting with the peers, you will be interacting with your subordinates, with your bosses, with the political uh, executives. I won't say political masters, but they are your supreme bosses. There may be occasions when you may be required to show your grit, to show your presence of mind without annoying the bosses, whether it is administrative boss or whether it is political boss. You have to give them a very cogent reasons to. In other words, you should have the grit to say no to your political executives, your political bosses, as well as administrative bosses. If you feel that somebody is asking you to perform a job which is not illegal, which is not as per the law, then you should have the grit to say no and say it politely. There's no room for any insubordination in civil services. You have to be very polite, no arrogance. In fact, that should be the arrogance should not be there in life for any person. And so is the civil service. It is not a kind of civil disobedience movement. You don't have to disobey anybody. If you can't do a job for some reasons, the job may be illegal. You may be asked by your bosses to perform certain functions or certain jobs, to execute a job which is not as per law. Please politely say no to it. Convince the boss. For this conviction, you require presence of mind. You require humor, a sense of humor, sense of wit. All these qualities are expected of a civil servant without annoying your bosses. You can't afford to annoy your bosses, come what may. As I stated in the beginning, what is the question that may be arising in your mind is that how would you what is the need for having an interviews? Is it really necessary when s- other recruitment bodies like staff selection commissions have done away with the interview processes for all posts? Why UPSC is continuing with this process? As I stated in the beginning, your knowledge base has already been tested through the prelims and mains examinations, but that alone is not sufficient. There is something else. There is some factor X that is needed. Some qualities are needed in your personality, which can be tested only through interviews, face to face talk. Now, having said all this, I would like you to I would like to take you through the UPSC on a virtual tour, because some of you rather, may be appearing for the first time in the interviews. You should know what all is required, what are the points that are to be kept in mind so that you are not caught unawares. I would like to apprise you with the through a virtual tour of the UPSC. It is very necessary to know certain point, because some of the aspirants who are here, they might have appeared in the UPSC, they know the drill, but a large part of aspirants are appearing for the interview for the first time. So it is very necessary that they should know so that they are not caught unawares. Now, first thing first, I'll begin from the beginning. When a person is entered, it may looks rather mundane, but it is necessary to know for every aspirant what all takes place when you enter the UPSC premises. First of all, I would advise all those who are coming to Delhi for the first time or those who have not seen the location of UPSC, please assure yourself where it is located. It is located on Shahjahan Road. Try to visit the spot a day before so that you are you don't get dislocated. So try to visit the UPSC where exactly it is. It is on Shahjahan Road, as I stated. You should not land up in Akbar Road or Humayun Road, which are close by. So be very careful. Visit the place where you have to go. When you enter the premises, you will be taken to a central hall. Some people call it waiting hall, where a lot of civil services aspirants will be sitting. There'll be 7 or 8 boards functioning in the mock interview, not mock interview, interview boards functioning in the UPSC concurrently, and all the candidates will be asked to stay put in the central hall, the waiting hall. You will have lot of newspapers, magazines. You can go through them, and there'll be many boards which are designated as board number 1, board number 2, board number 3, like that. The name of the chairperson and the names of the advisors are not revealed to you. When you enter the board, an official of the UPSC will come to you, verify all your original certificates. This is a mandatory exercise so that there is no fake certificates given by you in the past. So they will verify all the certificates, and you will be asked that you will be appearing before board number 3 or 4. That's all you will be told. I know this is a very difficult time when you are waiting for your turn to come. It's the most difficult time in the world, in your life rather. There'll be a lot of nervousness. There'll be butterflies in your stomachs. So all these things you have to overcome, and overcome them by keeping yourself healthy and fit. I'll come to that later on. So after verification of your certificates, when your turn matures, when a turn comes for appearing before the interview board, you will be taken and asked to sit for 3 or 4 minutes outside the interview chamber. I'm telling you all these things, nobody is going to tell you. You have to experience it. And you will be asked to sit outside the interview chamber. There'll be and when you're when there'll be when the call comes from the chairperson of the interview board, there is an usherer, there is an attendant who will be opening the door for you. So you don't have to seek permission of the board. May I come in, sir? No, this is not needed, because they know that you are coming, and the attendant will usher you into the interview chamber. What you have to do, you will be very nervous. You go straight to the chair. Don't sit. Stand by the side of the chair and wait for the orders of the chairperson. The chairperson, mind you, when you enter the board, your gait, the way you walk, the way you enter, all is being watched by the interview board. It's a part of your personality. How you react in stressful situations, that also is a part of personality. All your knowledge of optional papers are not needed here. How you are presenting yourself before the interview board is important. So, unless the chairperson asks you to sit, don't sit. But wait, don't wait endlessly. Wait for 4, 5, 6 seconds. And in case the chairperson still does not ask you to take your seat, you seek permission of the chairperson. Sir, may I have my seat? Then he or she will say, yes, yes, by all means you can sit. Then only you should sit down. But wait for 4, 5 seconds. Don't simply, I have seen occasions when people simply grab the seat, which is not proper. You should not grab the seat. It's not a kissa kusika. It is you will be asked to sit, but they are watching you. They are watching your reaction in a stressful situations when nobody is asking you to sit, whether you should sit or not. That is what they want to know. You should ask for your if wait for 5 6 seconds and then say, "Sir, may I have my seat?" Then they will say, "Yes, certainly you can take your chair." So take the seat. Some people take round the chair and then sit. That is not. Take the shortest possible wait. Greet the chairperson. Greeting is very, very important. When you sit down, then only when you enter the interview chamber, even before sitting, you should greet the chairperson. And if beside the chairperson, who is usually a member of the UPSC, he or she chairs the interview board. So you should uh, greet the chairperson. If there are male members, greet them as in one go, not in individually. Individual salutations are prohibited. Just say good morning, sirs, plural, sirs. And then if there is a lady advisors, then good morning, madam. Some institutes advise the candidates to greet the lady first, even though she is a member of the interview board. This is not correct. You must greet the chairperson, whether it is a male or a female, greet the chairperson. If the interview chairperson is a lady, good morning, madam, or good afternoon, madam. Don't say good evening, but good afternoon. Your turn may come in the forenoon session or in the afternoon session. So that is usually what is done. And so this is about the greeting part. Then you take your chair if they ask you. The chairperson normally, if the kind of questions, you are very nervous at that time, what to do. Please have faith in the UPSC. I have served in the UPSC for long years at very important positions. Please rest assured that the UPSC boards are very, very helpful. They are pro candidate. They will see to it that they will not start the interview unless you are comfortable in your chair. If you are feeling nervous, they will ensure that you don't feel nervous. If you are very nervous, they'll start with the preliminary questions. Yes, Mr. So and so. So who all are there in your family? You will be caught by surprise. Why is he asking me about my families? You never expected such a questions. But they will ask you, who all are there? What is your father doing? Who is the earning member in the family? How do you manage? You are a burden on your father. How long will you? Did you try a job for a job elsewhere? All such kind of questions will may be asked. Don't be caught by surprise. You may be asked anything under the sun. So detailed application form is something from which all questions emanate. When you qualify for the interviews, after the results are declared, you will be asked to fill up a detailed application form. 2. One you have already filled up before appearing in the main examinations, and now it is the turn of detailed application form 2. In short, it is called as DEF 2. So that is your Janam Kundali, if I may put it. That is kind of Janam Kundali. It is your mirror image of your personality. All questions will be asked from that DEF 2. The chairman will initiate the dialogue with you. I won't say monologue, it should be a dialogue. You must be very attentive. Please rotate your eye contact from this hand to that hand. Don't ignore the advisors. When I talk of members of the interview board, I must tell you, I forgot to tell you that the chairperson is a member of the UPSC, and he or she is assisted by 4 advisors. They are advisors and they are members of the interview board. They assist the chairperson by asking questions from various disciplines. And the trend of late is that it's a very happy trend, particularly after Mr. Modi took over. There has been a paradigm shift in the nature of asking questions. Earlier, the questions used to be fact based. When was the Panipat battle fought? When did this thing happen? These dates are not important any longer. Now the emphasis is on opinion related questions. They will seek your opinion about an issue. That is the latest trend. So you must be very careful. Don't worry about the details of dates and other points. Your opinion is more important for the interview board. What kind of view? They will not ask you anything about your religion. They will not ask you anything about your political inclinations or political affiliations, if at all they are. You have to be neutral. You have to keep a very neutral stand in such a situations. Religion is, supposing you are a Hindu, they might at best ask you, you are a Hindu, what is Hindutva? These are very normal questions they might ask you. So be ready to answer that. But they will not ask you inconvenient questions. If they feel that you are getting a little perplexed by these questions, they will not ask you. Filling of DEF 2 is a very, very important job. Please be very careful while you fill up the DEF. All of you, after you are declared successful for interview, will be asked to fill a DEF 2. Please see to it that there is no mismatch between your DEF, the information given by you in the DEF 2, and your performance. There have been occasions when you write the hobbies, your special hobbies, whether you are a football player, whether you are fond of playing cricket, hockey or whatever, or chess, or you are a journalist, you write blogs, they will ask you something about that certainly. And please ensure that you know something about your hobbies. If you are a cricketer, they will ask you, when did you play the cricket last? Sir, during my college days. So that's not a hobby. It was a hobby in those days, but now, for past 10 years, you have not played hobby. So you have not played cricket, so it's not a hobby. But you are fond of watching the cricket, so they will ask you certain terms from that sport. What is Cow's Corner? What is LBW? What is Googly? Something of that kind. Similarly, about other sports. If you are a journalist, if you are a blogger, they will ask you about what is your blog? What is the name of your blog? And whether you get your columns published somewhere. So you should be ready to answer. If you don't publish it, there is no point in writing blogs for yourself. It must be read by everybody, as many people as possible. In DEF 2, a very important, I'm preparing you to fill up the DEF 2 because it's a very important part of the process, recruitment process. You will be asked to give your preferences about the services you would like to opt for. You will also be asked to write about your preferential cadre. Cadre we talk about when it is a case of all India services like IAS, IPS, IFS. These are the all India services. In the case of other Group A and Group B central services, there is no cadre. All India cadre is not there. They are attached to their cadre controlling authorities. Either it is Department of Personnel or Department of Environment and Forest, Department of Statistics, something of that kind. So all these services are, you have to give your preferences for a cadre. Be very careful while filling up. If you are from Uttarakhand, then you should, cadres are decided on the basis of zone-wise preferences. They have divided the whole country into 5 zones. And if you are from Uttarakhand or Uttar Pradesh, then or Agmut, there is a separate zone 1, zone 2, zone 3. Agmut cadre, for instance, it comes in Agmut 1, and Jammu and Kashmir also is a part of Agmut 1. So be very careful when you write. First, fill up the zone to which you want to prefer. If you naturally, there is a natural uh, tendency to opt for a place where you belong to, your native place. So it's very natural. There is nothing to grumble about it. In earlier times, uh, people coming from Punjab used to be given Kerala cadre or Tamil cadre. And it was good for national integrations. But now, after Mr. Modi has taken over, things have been rationalized, and they have become more logical. They would like you to choose a cadre which is your own native place or which is near your native place. So that's about cadre. You have to choose your cadre very carefully. About services, your preferences must be indicated. Don't underestimate your potential while giving the services preferences. There are plethora of services, some 23 and odd services are there, starting from Indian Administrative Service, IAS, then IFS, IPS. These are the 3 services. IFS is a central services. If you have a flair for foreign affairs, international relations, you can opt for Indian Foreign Service. In earlier times, when I wrote the examinations, IS etc. examinations, that was in 1971. So there was no such coaching institute, there was no Google, there was nobody to guide you. So people used to prepare on their own, and so did I. So now there are a lot of institutes to guide you. You have got seniors to guide you. Always seek the help of your seniors who have been civil servants or who are in civil services. Take their guidance, and then write down the start from some people. I know of a very curious case in which, in a mock interview, I found a candidate starting from Group B. Group B was given as number one preference. Then I asked him, why you have given Group B? Why not Indian Administrative Service or IPS? There was no answer. There was no convincing answer. So don't underestimate your potential. Right from IAS downwards. IAS should be number one preference. IPS, if you have a flair for uniformed services, IPS also is very good. If you don't like international relations, there is no point in writing, but give it some ranking. Don't write, if you are not interested in IFS as number 3 preference, make it 5. People these days have a tendency to opt for Indian Revenue Service, custom or income tax, because these days some people are even preferring Indian Revenue Service over Indian Administrative Service, because income tax and in custom they carry more authorities. Perhaps, I don't know, I don't agree with that perception. So in that, you have to be very thorough. You read about the services, ask your friends, know about the services to which you want to go, give that in that particular order. Write about Group B also. Don't ignore Group B, and don't overestimate yourselves. Don't be overconfident about your potential. Some people do not write anything about Group B. They say, no, we want to enter only Group A, which is not proper. People should write about all the services in the order of their preferences. Now, let me come to the nitty gritty of what happens uh, during the interview. Am I taking time? Uh, no, I'll come to the nitty gritty. Dress code is very, very important. There is no fixed dress code prescribed by the UPSC for a candidate, for an aspirant. But conventionally, aspirants wear suits. Male candidates wear suits. It may be navy blue with a matching shirt, matching tie. You should not be. There is no. When I said it, that there is no fixed. There is no fixed dress code. It doesn't mean that you can wear everything or anything. It is not an informal code. Also, you should not wear jeans or you should not wear t-shirts. This is not proper, because UPSC interview is a very serious and formal business. You should wear a formal dress, but you should not look too flashy. You should not look flamboyant in your appearance or in your demeanor. This is also important. For the ladies, aspirants, sari is normally advised, but if you want to wear a suit, you are free to do it. But saris are normally, I advise them to wear saris. And saris should be light colors. It may be blue color sari. Sari should be cotton and silk sari, not silk sari alone, but cotton and sari, cotton and silk mixed. Blue color, off white color, but not white color. White color is not proper for such occasions. So wear that. One thing I forgot to tell you. I take you back to the waiting hall. All the candidates will be asked to strip their possessions. You will be asked to get rid of your wristwatches, your pen. If you're a girl, you may be wearing a chain or necklace. They will be asked you. They will ask you to remove all those items, because these days, a lot of recording devices are planted inside such items. If there is a wristwatch, it may carry an audio recording device, or there may be a CC camera. So they will frisk you also. They will see to it that you remove all your articles, your jewelry, your wristwatches, pens, all things should be left at the waiting hall. They'll put inside a safe locker, and they'll give you a token also. I must have told you in the beginning, but that is what you should be ready for. Don't carry your mobiles. Mobiles also you have to get rid of. They are prohibited. So that is, I mentioned about dress code. Some ladies are in the habit of wearing sandals, with high heel sandals. They make a lot of noises. TikTok sounds. It's very, very, is highly inappropriate, I would say, because it distracts the attention of the board. When you enter the interview chamber, there'll be a lot of sound, and that sound will distract their attentions. Wear chappals, not high heel, but simple heels. So that's very important. Everything should be matching, but it should not be ostentatious. It should not be flashy. No flashy clothes. You should look as simple as possible. If you are a married woman, they will not ask you to remove your Mangal Sutra. They will allow it. But provided it doesn't carry any device, any recording device, that's very important. I told you in the beginning that maintaining eye contact with the board is also very, very important, because looking at the person who has asked you a question and constantly looking at him, staring at him, is also bad manners. Keep looking at others also. Involve them in your dialogue with the interview board. Once in a way, look at others. Let them feel involved in you. Don't make yourself, be balanced, but don't make yourself boring to the interview board. I have seen cases. I have seen interviews, actual interviews in the UPSC on various occasions. Not civil service examinations, but even otherwise, I used to myself go there. And the kind of decorum that is maintained has to be maintained there. You have to maintain the dignity of the board. Maintaining eye contact with the board is very, very important. You should look at each and every person's fleeting glance to everybody, so that they don't feel ignored. They don't feel left out When you are in the company of your friends, you talk to everybody. You don't talk to only one person, one friend. You talk to everybody. So they should also feel involved in your dialogue. And always give a pause when a question is asked. Be a good listener. Mind you, you have to be a very good listener so that you don't answer a questions in a wrong manner. Unless you are clear about the questions, if you are not clear about the questions, have the courage to ask the chairperson or the questioner, sir, could you kindly repeat your questions? This is permissible. So that is one thing, and eye contact is there, and giving pause is very important. Revolve the questions in your mind. Be a good listener. I was talking about you should listen to the question very carefully. If you don't listen to the question carefully, you will give wrong answers. Answers should be very crisp, brief, precise, concise, and to the point. No irrelevant answers should be given. By giving the irrelevant answers, you will be only wasting the time of the board. Don't waste the time of the board. If you don't know your questions, don't say no immediately. Just pause, give a pause, give an impression that you are thinking about it. If you, for 3-4 seconds, if you don't get an answer, just say politely, say, I'm sorry, sir, I do not know the answers. I cannot answer these questions, or I am unable to answer. If consecutively you are unable to answer the questions, first question, second question, third questions, don't worry about it. Don't carry the burden, don't carry the load in your mind that, oh, I'm sorry, I could not answer the questions, because that will impact your performance adversely. Don't carry. It is not possible for anybody to answer every questions in the world. There are so many things which you may or may not know. So it is not a negative quality, it's not a negative trait. If you are not able to answer, the best thing is to say no. If you don't answer the questions consecutively for 3-4 times, don't feel bad about it. Don't feel bad about it. They will just politely say, no, sorry, sir, sorry, sir, sorry, sir, I do not know. And because that will give more time to the board to ask you more questions. They want to get the best out of you. And there is no negative marking if you are not able to answer the questions, provided you politely, intelligently say no. You regret your inability to say no, and say so. Be very honest to the board. Don't bluff the board. Bluffing the board, I have seen many aspirants. They try to show off their knowledge by giving wrong answers or absurd answer, which is very bad thing. So it is better to say no, regret your inability, rather than give a wrong answers. Guesswork is also prohibited. Don't make guesses. Guesswork, if you do, it will give a very bad impression about your personality, that you are prone to making guesses, which is not. Making guesses is not a trait expected of a civil servant, future civil servant. Then there are certain do's and don'ts I would like to mention briefly. Slangs must be avoided, because all of you are fresh from universities. You are in the habit of, in the company of your friends, you are using lot of slangs in your. That should be avoided. No oxymorons should be used. I hope you know oxymorons. No cliches should be used in your language. Sorry, I forgot to mention about the medium of answers. In your DEF 2, you should also, very important point is about the medium of answers in the interview. If you are I have seen cases where people or aspirants who have done MA in Hindi literature or Telugu literature, but they have given the medium of answers in interview as English. It is highly undesirable, and it will invite you disturbing questions from the board. The first question is that you are MA in Hindi literature or MA in Tamil literature. You have opted for that. Your optional is Tamil or Telugu. Why you are giving answers in English? It's a very wrong perception. People feel that if you give her answers in English, it might fetch you more marks. It is incorrect perception. It's a very wrong perception. You must, I think, know about it. Answer should be very focused. I have already mentioned about it. Very focused, to the point, devoid of any irrelevancies. Accent is also very important. I know of a I have been mentoring for the past 15 years, immediately after my retirement in 2007. So there was a girl candidate. I don't want to say her name. Brilliant girl. And she is now an IPS officer in Himachal Cadre. She studied in Oxford. So she acquired that accent, English accent. Some people, some aspirants work in the call centers. They are also taught how to converse in with American accent or English accent. That also should be avoided. Your accent should be Indian. If it is English language, it should be Indian English, not Oxford accent or American accent, which are not advisable. Again, coming back to the medium of answers, there have been occasions. I am giving you these small examples because you must remember that in one case, people are more familiar, more comfortable in their own mother tongue. If they write, if somebody has given the answers in the answer books in mains examinations in English, there is no harm in giving Hindi or Telugu or Tamil, your mother tongue, as the medium of answers in the interview, because you are more comfortable and you will be able to express your views uh, with confidence. But they still write English as the preferential medium of answer, which is not proper, and they flounder in the process. Honesty is very, very important. You must be honest to yourself. You must be honest to the UPSC. No extraneous pressures must be brought on the UPSC in any way during the interviews. No, it is because that's the reason they strip you, your personality, your person, of the any recording devices like mobile phones or any other device, because the idea is to ensure that you are not able to, if you have been told about the board, you will certainly be very keen which board is it, who is heading the board, who all are there. So some kind of information will be given to you, will be available to you. So the UPSC has to ensure that you don't make contact with any outsiders. You don't tell an outsider that my board is being chaired by so and so. Please give him a phone call or give her a phone call. Never indulge in these practices. UPSC is a very fair body, and they mean it. They don't expect any dishonesty or bluffing answers. No guesswork. Honesty. Extra marks for honesty is given. If you're honest, if you say yes, and I'm sorry, I do not know the answer, they will certainly appreciate that quality. There are sometimes many tricky questions are also asked in the interview board. They will give you a situations from ethics, that in such a situation, supposing your political executive or political masters or your superiors, administrative bosses, ask you to do something which is not permissible as per the law of the land. Supposing they force you to accept a tender as a district magistrate, you have to be very careful. You are a boss of the whole district. Police also will be police also will be working with you. They'll be here to help you, but they are reporting to you in a way. You have to give. Police will not open fire unless you give them the orders. So for that, a lot of confidence is needed. You have to have the grit to face the crowd. Honesty is very, very important in that matter. So while in district, you may be asked by many Politicians, many politicians, MLAs, MLCs, MPs, there are so many schemes like MP-led schemes, MLA-led schemes. They'll be asking you to give the tender to someone who is not the lowest tender. Such situations are very, very normal and usual. So you should have the grit to say, you should always follow the rule of law. What is permissible by the law, you should follow that. And tricky questions I've already mentioned to you. How will you manage a boss who is very egoistic? How will you manage him? Will you be able to manage your job, manage your boss if he is egoistic? You must be able to answer that questions. And illegal orders are not to be followed. Politely say no, no, no. Even if the minister asks you, politely say no. Take your seniors into confidence. These are the qualities I'm expecting you. I'm hoping that all of you become civil servants. These are for future only. So these qualities are tested. Whether you have the potential to follow, to have these, to follow the rule of law, these qualities are tested through the interview board. And as I stated in the beginning, quick decision making is also very important. On many occasions, will be required to take quick decisions. You can't, keep the decision pending. Quick decision making is very important. That also is possible to assess through the interview boards. And so that's all I have to say within the limited time made available to me. And Kanksha, if you have got any answers, if there is any query, any doubt from the aspirants, please do let me know. I'll be too happy to answer those
Thank you
questions.
so much, sir, for sharing
Without,
your.
of course, compromising the secrecy of the process that is followed in the UPSC. I will not say anything about these details of the process, but I will certainly give a proper answer, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir, for your insights and wisdom. There are some questions which UPSC aspirants are facing doubts. So I would like you to guide them. There is a controversy going on regarding the CSAT exams. So can you explain what are those?
Yes, CSAT is a. There was a controversy in the recent past about certain discrepancies noticed by the aspirants in the CSAT examinations, and I won't be able to say much, but discrepancies were there. I also went through the question papers, and but the matter is sub judice. You must know that the matter is sub judice, and let us await the orders of the High Court or Supreme Court. It is presently before the High Court of Delhi, and we will know more about it as we go along.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much, sir. So my next question is what is the role of chairperson and co-panelist there?
You see, chairperson, he or she is the leader of the board, and he decides the marking after consulting the advisors, and his observations carry a lot of weight, but he always takes everybody along with it, and awarding of marks to the candidates is done through a unanimous decisions of the entire board. There is no hanky-panky, there is no favoritism, there is no nepotism. So it's a fair process, I would say. Chairman has a very important role to play because he initiates the discussions, he initiates the dialogue with the candidate.
Okay, thank you, sir. And at the end of the show, I would like to ask do you want to give any message to our UPSC aspirants?
Well, my final message to the civil services aspirants is start with the hope that all of you get the interview calls Keep up your calm. Those who are not able to make it, don't get depressed. I'm i am telling those who are not able to make it this time, better luck next time. Don't get depressed. These are all passing phases. Mood swings are always there. These are part of the examination process, recruitment process, because I said it's a very, very large examinations. Some 10 lakhs candidates apply for it, 5 lakhs appear for it. Then finally it comes down, and only now 2,500 people might be called this year for the interview process. It's a process by elimination is very, very large. So one should not, I don't know the role of luck here, but hard work usually pays, and you have to follow whatever I have told you. I have not touched upon the questions and answers, but some questions like, why do you want to enter, why have you opted for Indian Administrative Service, and why not Indian Postal Service, so, or any other service. So you can say as an Indian Administrative Service is number one preference, because don't say it has been my dream right from childhood. That's a very routine and childish answer. Please don't indulge in the luxury of such answers. Be frank enough that IAS is a very important service, and it gives you an opportunity to interact with a large interface of people. You can resolve their problems. You have got the authority. In IAS, you have got authority. In other services, also, they have also got authority, but not to that extent. In the Indian Administrative Service, you've got a lot of authorities, lot of powers, and you can exercise those powers to resolve the problems of the people, to see that everything goes as per the rule of law, as per the law of the land. So, and especially I'm concerned about those aspirants. Please don't, those who are not able to make it this time, they will certainly make it next time. I have seen cases when people have made it in the sixth attempt or fifth attempt, but they could not make it in the first, second, third attempt. So there's no reason to feel it's, you go on working hard. Health is very important. One important aspect, if you permit me, health is very, very important. You must maintain a good health, avoid pollution. Before the interview, those who are going for the interview must be very, very careful about their health, and they should keep themselves fully hydrated, because unless you have got proper amount of fluid in your body, you will not be focused in your answers. Keep your brain oxygenated. Anulom vilom is very, very important, plays a very important part. So these things, and don't take junk food, please, forever. One should never take it, but these days especially, don't take any junk food. Take simple food. Do a lot of exercises, as many as possible. Socialization is very important. You have to interact with as many people as possible, because when you go for interview, in fact, this point I should have taken up earlier. Socialize with people. Create a peer group of like-minded people who are also going for interview. Go through your def once, twice, thrice, and generate your own questions. Prepare answers for that. Write down on a sheet of paper what kind of answers have this question, because all the questions will be asked from the def, detailed application form. So these points are very, very important. Articulation should be improved. Read the newspapers. Keep yourself abreast with the latest current affairs. This is very important. More emphasis is these days played on the current affairs. They will ask you about your paper. Supposing you are a student of sociology, they might ask you not textbook type questions, but they might ask you about women's empowerment. What do you think of women's empowerment? How does it impact the family life of a woman? If a woman is independent, economically independent, she becomes empowered also. But does it impact the family adversely? So such type of common sense questions are asked. There is more emphasis on such things. I hope I satisfy your doubt?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Definitely. So, at the end of the show, I would like to thanks my gratitude towards Mr. A.K Saxena, sir, for coming up here and and guiding the students as well. Thank you so much, sir, for giving your time. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you, Akansha.
Thank you, sir.